What is shadow work? The shadow is basically the dark parts of us that throughout our life we suppress. And it's said that a person cannot truly recognize who they are without exploring these deeper parts of us that, came from things that happened to us in childhood, things that we learned throughout our life, and just were kind of told to suppress it because emotion and things that were deemed as bad, like feeling angry or sad or upset, we were told to basically suppress it and shove it deep down because it was not accepted. So the shadow holds those parts of us that we disowned, that we are basically pretending are not there, and it's creating kind of a separation from who we really are as authentic individual people. So exploring the shadow is very difficult. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. For me, it's been extremely difficult, and there has been moments where it's left me feeling very sad and very empty, and just feeling a little bit worse about myself than normal. And so that is not the goal. However, the goal with shadow work isn't to depress yourself or make you feel bad about yourself. It's to be able to identify what triggers you, what makes you feel the way you do in certain situations, and so that way you can release those emotions and not carry them around with you, and so that way you can reconnect to who you really are. Now, exploring the shadow will also help us to identify the things that are holding us back. If we are, usually the things that are buried in the shadow, our ego has buried there because it's attempting to protect us from feeling those things and from venturing out into the world and trying new things and using our creativity to leave an impact on the world, I guess you could say, or use our creativity and our authenticity to become more and become more fulfilled and better. So the shadow is a lifelong journey. Exploring the shadow isn't something that you can just do for a little bit and then you're good to go, because there's always going to be new experiences and new people and new things that are going to trigger us. And so it's important to understand that it's something that you're going to have to be kind of all in for. It's something that you're going to have to do for the rest of your life if you really want it to work, I suppose you could say, because like I said, there's always going to be new experiences and new things that are going to be happening to us that our ego is still going to ultimately try to protect us from those things, and it's going to be like, whoa, no, you need to put that back down there. Don't look at that. That's going to make you sad. Don't think about that. That's going to make you angry. It's going to keep doing that. So you're going to have to keep working with the shadow on a consistent basis throughout your life. So we tend to project these parts of us onto other people. These parts of us that we suppress, we tend to project them onto other people. And a very good example of this, when I first started doing shadow work, was with my ex-partner. Now, what would happen is things that he did that would hurt me, I would try to talk to him about it and make him see how it hurt me and make him understand it. I would try to I had to feel like he had to agree with me that what he was doing was absolutely wrong when it was technically abuse. So yes, it was wrong, but for me, him not agreeing with me about that was a super huge dig to, well, my ego, and it hurt and it sucked, and then it caused me to become super angry and project that onto him. So really, all in all, me becoming angry for him not agreeing with me is is something that needed to be addressed. It's something that needed to be understood and looked at further and deeper. And projecting that anger onto him wasn't doing me good, and it wasn't doing him any good. And so for me to go deeper into this is when I actually started to learn about codependency and needing validation, an outsource of validation for myself. And that's actually how I discovered that I was codependent, is through doing shadow work. So that's just my example of shadow work. There's lots of other things that people will identify about themselves, and they'll learn to understand about themselves while doing shadow work. It's really important to understand that these parts of us are parts of us for a reason. There is no light without dark, and there is no dark without light. It's all a whole, and it has to be a whole for you to truly evolve in this life, and to learn and to love and to be fulfilled in this life. We have to explore those dark parts of us. Now, remember that shadow work opens awareness to the dark parts of us, and some parts that we aren't even conscious to. They completely lie in our subconscious, and we may not even fully recognize that they're there or why they're there before we start doing shadow work. And so while you're practicing shadow work, it's very important to also practice self-love, because of how devastating the shadow work can be. And I'm telling you, it's hard. Every time I do it, I cry my eyes out, but that's okay. It's okay to cry. Crying can make you feel so much better if you just let yourself do it. And I've actually noticed that sometimes when I feel like crying, I will hold myself back from it, and I don't really know why. It's just that ego is trying to protect you from going to that space, when that space is actually meant to happen for you to make you feel better. So while doing shadow work, be sure to let yourself feel it, but also let yourself practice self-love, so that way you're balancing it out, and you're not just constantly exploring all the deep, dark parts of yourself and then being left off to feel icky, because that isn't the goal of shadow work. Also, if you suffer from severe depression and anxiety, I highly recommend that you don't practice shadow work and you focus more on self-love, because, of course, like I said, deep shadow work can really dig into deep traumas, and it can be very, very disturbing. Shadow work can help actually diminish depression and anxiety, but I would not use it as a guaranteed method to do that for you. So there are a few things that shadow work will really help you with. The 5 top things that shadow work will help improve in your life is, number 1, relationships. I will tell you that when you can start to see how you are reacting to certain situations, when you become self-aware of how you're reacting to situations in your life that involve your relationships, you will start to realize, holy crap, they're being mean to me, and that's really bothering me. So maybe there's a little bit of a part of me that is kind of like an asshole. So those parts of you that are being triggered in a relationship will be able to be released, and those things won't trigger you as much anymore. and they might not even trigger you at all. That's kind of the goal, is to just kind of release that and allow it to be a part of you and accept it. You'll experience a lot less anger and reaction in the relationship when something doesn't go the way you planned, when something's said or when something's done that really triggers you. It's not going to result in such a big reaction. And your relationships will all around become more positive, and you will be aware of how the relationship actually is, if it's toxic or if it's not. The next one is being aware of who you truly are. You're willing to view yourself as a whole rather than a part. So we tend to view ourselves, if we have a bad part, that's who we are. That bad part is who we are. Instead of seeing ourselves as separate parts, as bad parts and good parts. So you'll be able to connect more with who you truly are and your authenticity, and be more aware of the fact that everything and everyone is bad and good. Your internal dialogue will become a lot less judgmental, actually, because you're going to be learning to just accept it. You're going to be learning to take that journal prompt and write all that crap out and cry it out and release it. Accept that it's there and that it's not who you are. It's a part of you. A good example about changing your perception is, so you'll be like, well, I feel really stupid working out. I feel like I look dumb. I feel like people are gonna laugh at me and this looks stupid. And when really you're gonna realize that actually nobody cares. Like, actually nobody cares that you might look silly working out, and that actually might be just an illusion. Like, you're gonna realize that you're doing what you need to be doing for your body to make you healthy and make you happy, and exercise is supposed to be a good thing and not a bad thing. So your perception on things is going to change immensely. Maturity. This is my favorite because this is so good. Like, you will become so aware of the fact that you cannot hide all of your icky parts. I like to call them icky parts because even though they're a part of you, they can be icky. You will become so aware that you can no longer hide those. Like, once you start digging into this stuff, you will not be able to hide it and suppress it any longer. You're going to become so aware when these triggers are going to arise, and you're going to become so aware of how you're reacting and how you're acting towards situations that you will not be able to hide it anymore. It's not going to sit down there. It's going to surface, and it's going to want to come out in some form of a way. You will learn that maturity is being able to own these parts fully, to own them. And it takes courage and accountability, and therefore maturity. It takes accountability and courage to deep into all of this, and therefore you become more mature because you're able to accept that you have that part of you in you and not let it sit there and not let it fester and not let it be who you are. Shadow work will enhance your energy, because if you think about negative energy in the sense of even just like traumatic memories being negative energy, they're going to sit in your body and they're going to weigh you down, and they're going to make you feel bad and icky and unmotivated, and they're going to diminish your energy in a sense. So practicing shadow work will definitely help, because you're kind of getting off all of that icky baggage and you're letting it go, you're releasing it, it's no longer weighing you down. And that's why they say when you practice shadow work, the more you do it, the lighter you feel. And it's so true. Now, when it's difficult for us to open up to our icky parts, we have to understand that it's hard because of shame and guilt. It's hard. It's going to be so hard for you to practice shadow work if you have shame and guilt looming over your head. So letting go of that is really important for practicing shadow work, so you can be completely honest with yourself and you can therefore reap all the benefits from shadow work. You know, if you're feeling shameful for everything and guilty for everything that is in your shadow and that is holding you down and that you've suppressed, that's understandable and it's okay. It's not wrong to feel that way. However, it's just not shadow work's not going to be beneficial to you if you do not let go of the shame and the guilt. You have to fully be on board with this process. You have to fully be open and aware and allow yourself to just feel the crap out of all of it. You have to be able to do that, otherwise it's not going to help you and you're not going to get to the core. So one of my favorite shadow work journal prompts is, what are a few things others do that make me feel angry and why? Dig deep. Remember, triggers are things that we need to heal. They are not meant to be avoided. So I am really excited that you clicked on this video because I think shadow work is super important, especially today, and really in any time, but especially in today's day and age, because emotions are just becoming less and less something that are talked about, and more they are just taught to be suppressed and pushed down and left alone, that we don't go there, it's wrong, it's bad, no. And that is so far from the truth. So I really hope this video helped you learn about shadow work, and I really hope that you take the time to practice it. Remember that shadow work should always be practiced with self-love and self-care, so that way you aren't left feeling super icky and empty and alone. Nobody wants those feelings, and I would hate for something that was requested to you to make you feel worse about yourself, because like I said, that is not the goal. So I am so thankful that you guys took the time to watch my video, and I hope shadow work helps you out, and I will be posting a lot more information about shadow work. Also, some really exciting news: you can now sign up for my email list. I will leave the link down in the description box below. If you sign up for my email list, you will be the first to receive all kinds of free content and discounts on coaching, as well as a lot of other awesome offers. So right now, if you sign up for my email list, you will be able to download my 2 freebies, which are my Vibe High cheat sheet and also my 5 steps to alignment guide. These will help teach you how to become more aligned to your desires and the things that you want to manifest into your life. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.